Let's all thank the wonderful patrons for supporting the channel. I can't show everything from the visual novel, so if you support me in Patreon, you will be able to watch everything from the old to the naughty. Also, don't forget to ring that bell when you subscribe so you'll be notified with future videos. Now, let's start the show! The city watch in the church's holy nights appeared roughly an hour after the explosion at Clyde's fighting ring. All the residents of the ring had fled by the time the authorities arrived, including Clyde and Val. The Knights and City Watch led a thorough search of the ring and confiscated most of Clyde's black market goods, but the rubies were nowhere to be found. All traces of the cloak mage had disappeared except for the scattered remains of broken stone from the destroyed stone elementals. Despite Artemis' insistence on helping them continue the search, the Holy Knights ordered her to return home. The City Watch gently reminded the Knights that Artemis and her friends were still wanted for driving a wagon through the front door of an arcane shop this morning. Of course, we smashed the freaking walls! We were like... yeah! But the Knights waved it off and swiftly lifted the charges. Oh yeah, the Knights lifted it off because this is the chosen one! Apparently your wall was chosen to be destroyed, so chosen! And thus, so ends this adventuring party's hectic first day. Yes, thank you everybody for watching. Ooh. Whoop. Market District. Sparrow's Inn and Tavern. Night had long fallen by the time Sid arrived home to Sparrow's Roost Inn and Tavern. Business had closed hours earlier. The tavern was quiet and the dining area devoid of customers. As Sid climbed the stairs toward his family's living quarters, he could hear his parents' usual squabbling echo through the narrow wooden hallway. With a soft smile, he made his way towards the door. The room was filled with the delicious smell of warm stew as a pot simmered over the stove. Renee Shrikewood doused the flames and carried the pot to the dinner table as his wife, Ilya Shrikewood, paced worriedly across the room. Oh, honey, I'm sure our boy is doing fine. There's no need to fret. Ilya wrung her hands against her apron with great anxiety as she stared at the door. It's so late. Why hasn't Sid come home yet? Oh, I know we shouldn't have let him run off on that adventuring party business. Who knows what kind of trouble he's gotten himself into? A lot of trouble! Apparently your boy's a freaking beast! Renee chuckled and pulled a serving cheesy garlic bread out of the oven. The sweet, mouth-watering scent made his stomach rumble with impatience like... Just watch! Sid's gonna walk through that door in a minute now, cause here comes my freaking cheesy bread! He always shows up when dinner is ready. Oh, but you should have seen him this morning. He was doing that thing again with the broom. Plenty of boys sword fight with broomsticks. He's gonna experience some sword fights with men too. Let the poor guy have a little fun. Though we should probably have a talk with him about that. Frog friend of his. I mean, the sword brooming, yeah, I understand. But talking to a toad? Or a frog? That's against the line! Ilya grabbed a broom from the closet and then use it as a sword and brandish it in the air, mimicking her son's movements from this morning. Oh, Ilya! The dust is in the air! Well, I suppose swinging this around is somewhat fun, though fighting with a broom won't help him such much in a real fight. Sweetie, if you have seen him fight, you're gonna love him, cause he's your boy. And your freaking boy is a freaking beast! I just hope Sid remembers to stay safe and not touch men. Maybe I should have given him the broom before he left. At least he wouldn't be unarmed. Yeah, the broom of terror! Renee nodded wisely as he finished setting up the dinner table. It's kind of like Legend of Zelda. Here, Link, have this wooden sword. It'll help you on your journey. But it's just a sword, but you can shoot things with it. Yes, the broomstick. Of course, the mystical, magical broomstick. Truly the deadliest weapon of an adventurer's arsenal. The broomstick! I mean, he's not a witch! Despite her worry, Ilya let out a small laugh and waved the broom in her husband's direction. Ha! Take this! And then all of a sudden, bang! The way Sid swung this thing around will be plenty deadly. Whoops! Ilya lost her grip on the broom as she tripped forward. I guess broom raises bad luck. The broomstick sailed across the air at a graceful arc right as the living room door swung open, and it hit Sid right in the face. Mom! Dad! I'm home! Ah! Bako kid! Oof! Sid stepped into the broom and was immediately smacked across the face by the flying broomstick. Yes! I knew it! Man, I'm so good at this. Oh my goodness, Sid! I'm so glad you made it home. Are you hurt? I'm sorry that the broomstick's fault. Curse you, broomstick! You go to your room! Sid barely had a moment to recover before his parents flocked over him like doting mother hens. Because they're birds. Son! How did your first day adventuring go? Ilya fussed over his ruffled clothes and crooked glasses while wearing her perpetually worried expression. Did you get anything to eat today, dear? Why are you covered in scratches? You didn't get into any fights, did you? I got into a lot of fights, Ma. Sid chuckled and batted away her fuzzy hand. Like, Hey, slow down, Mom. Give me a chance to breathe. Ilya crossed her arms with a huff. I was worried sick all day. You could have at least dropped by and told us where you were. If only there's a thing called a phone! As Ilya retreated to the dining table, Sid couldn't help but notice his mother limping slightly. If only she's using that broom to help her stand! And wincing whenever she bent her spine too much. Like, my spine! My back! His chest lurched with worry. His father beckoned Sid to a seat with a grin and began serving out stew. Eat up! You're probably starving after working all day. Here, have some cheesy garlic bread. How did things go? You gotta tell us all about it! Sid popped out his chest proudly. I'll have you know that the day went fantastically. He dug out his coin sack and presented his day's earnings to his parents with a grin. I'm finally a member of a proper adventuring party. Hooray! And don't worry, I kept my promise and made some friends to team up with. Hooray! Ilya and Renee's eyebrows rose with surprise like, money! The two of them exchanged glances and nodded supportively. Money. Oh! My boy finally made some friends! We're so happy for you. And money! What kind of frogs are they? Oh yes, the kind of frogs where you kiss them. Sid's jaws dropped for a moment before swallowing indignantly. No! They're both real people! Ilya and Renee froze with surprise before instantly erupting in overjoyed shout. Sure! They're oversized frogmen! That's excellent news, son. Good for you. Oh, thank goodness. Real people, everybody. Real people. I'm so glad. Who are your new friends? Are they nice? Are they sexy? Are they gay? Surely you should invite them over sometime. We'd love to meet them. You'll never believe who I ran into today. Sid spent the rest of the night recounting his adventures to his excited and thrilled parents. Ilya hung onto every word, completely enraptured as he told his story. Renee kept patting Sid on the shoulder with joyous laughter as he spoke. The stew was delicious as usual, but tonight it tastes exceptionally great because it's made from bird. Sid's chest felt alight with pride and satisfaction for the first time in as long as he could remember. Oh. City of Asia. Marauders District. Okay. Bonebreaker Mercenary Company. Guild building. Okay. Papa, I'm home! As soon as Cole opened the door to the Bonebreaker Mercenary Guild, he was hit by uproarious laughter and drunken hollering. His father was drunkening, singing tavern songs with dozens of other mercenaries, his voice droning with a tipsy pitch. Meanwhile, Hamish was trying to do a paperwork at the bar, but was continuously interrupted by Maro stealing kisses from him every few minutes. Man, if only. Hamish grumbled and pretended to be annoyed as he buried his face in his papers. Cole smiled and gently closed the door behind him. As soon as Maro caught sight of him, he slammed his tankard of ale loudly into the table with a jolly laugh like, Well, looky here! My darling boy has returned! Oh, Goose, your first day back on the job! Maro's jovial voice boomed through the building with a deep rumble. Several other mercenaries turned their heads and waved to Cole as he approached his father's table. Cole puffed out his chest and stood a little straighter. He's not straight! Do I ever disappoint? He tossed his coin sack into the bar with a loud thump. Not only did I complete a mission and bring home some loot, I formed my own little adventuring guild with 2 fresh recruits. Well, one of those recruits might not be coming back, but still. In just our first day, we kicked ass! Broke out of jail! Defeated Val! The best fighter at your favorite fighting ring! You should have seen us, Papa! Maro was absolutely beaming as he gave Cole a rough slap on the back like Imagine this is Cole, and I am his father. Oh, that's my boy! Me proud and joy! I knew you had an in you for greatness. One of these days you'll grow into an even better man than your old papa here. Beat Val in his own little ring, eh? You'll become a fine mercenary yet. Maro slung an arm around Cole's shoulders and pulled him close with a sly smirk. Now tell me, during your great big brawl today, did you fight fair? Cole smirked back knowingly. You know me, a scrawny little guy. No, of course not. We Bonebreakers fight to win. The room instantly burst with roar like woo, with drunken laughter and hollers of a girl like woo. Atta boy! You do your old man proud! Cole's stomach felt fluttery as he drank on and all the praise like yes, yes, praise me, praise me. Every one of Papa's words felt like a warm embrace in his heart. From his seat next to Maro, Hamish puts down his pen and cleared his throat loudly. How experienced are your new recruits? You should bring them over to the tavern. Wow, first the mom, now them. It's a guild building! Hamish rolled his eyes with a soft smile. Guild Tavern. Your father and I would love to meet your new friends sometime. Cole crossed his arms and shot him a dirty look. Nobody asked you, Hamish. The older hyena visibly stiffened and looked away like... Maro let out another jolly laugh and stuffed Cole's hair. What? You scared me taking your luggage from you? Worry not, boy. Hamish is right. You should bring them over. I want to personally see what they are made of. If they suck... If they suck, I'll give them the good old Bonebreaker training regimen and whip them into shape. Nothing but the best for my darling soon. Actually, I was gonna ask you about this, Papa. Are you free at all tomorrow? One of my boys doesn't have any experience with a weapon. Except for the broom! Do you think you can fit him with some equipment and give him a little training tomorrow? Oh, consider it done! I look forward to seeing what your men are made of. That's a man and a woman. Papa's enthusiasm was truly infectious. Cole couldn't help but smile at the sight of his father, brimming with the pride as he showed off his son's success to all the men of the mercenary guild. His approval filled Cole's chest with a warm sense of belonging. Oh, by the way, Papa, there's something I want to show you. Can I speak to you privately for a moment? Yes, this freaking music's too loud! Maro downed another goblet of ale and wiped his face with a smile like... Of course, I always have time to spare for you. Ah, thank God. The drunken hollers of the mercenary men dimmed to muffled background noises as Cole led his father towards a quiet corner of the building. Maro's steps wobbled with a hint of tipsiness, his face still plastered a jolly smile. Well, son, what did you want to show me? Cole turned to face his father and took a deep, nervous breath. Well, I just wanted to say that I really appreciated the new loot you gifted to me this morning. It means a lot that you supported me and stuff other than the usual mercenary business. Maro laughed and roughly tousled his hair again. Nonsense! You're the son... Oh my gosh, my butt! You're the son of Maro Bonebreaker! You deserve the best a father could give you! Cole cleared his throat. And you deserve the best son a son could give, too. I couldn't just accept your gift without giving something back, so, I got a little something for you. Cole reached into his pocket and pulled out a single glistening ruby. He did not. He did not! He did not! He held out his father with trembling hands. Here you go! He's giving it to... Dude! Did you forget the freaking mission from the last time we played this? You need that ruby! A one-of-a-kind gem for my best one-of-a-kind papa. Maro's jaw fell agape in surprise, like, oh! His expression soon melted into a warm, heartful spotlight. He kneeled down until he was at eye level with Cole and brushed his hands against the ruby in Cole's palm, like... This is beautiful, son. You got this for me. It looked just like my eyes. Cole nodded earnestly. Of course. Nothing but the best for my papa. Maro barked at a hearty laugh, and he pulled Cole close in a tight hug. I assume this is the spoils of your first adventuring party efforts, isn't it? If so, you should keep it. What? Yes, keep it, you idiot! You mean you don't want it? Maro shook his head with a smile. Nay, I always have the greatest gift a father could ask for. A happy and loving son. And a freaking best boyfriend in the world. Cole bit his lip and stared down at the ruby in his hands quietly. Good, at least he didn't give away the freaking ruby or else his father will die. From freaking Quan, from all those freaking spellcasters. You mean it, right? You're not just saying that because you're trying to be nice and supportive, are you? I speak only the truth, son. No treasure in the world could compare to the sheer joy I feel right now. I love you so much, my darling son. Cole's chest fluttered with warmth again as he gazed up at his father's warm, prideful eyes. Thanks, Papa. I love you too. Now hug and kiss! Ah, no! We're going to the church! Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. Church district, Grand Cathedral. At least 2 parents are proud. What about the other parent? You what? Oh, sorry. It's the woman. Bishop Katrina's shrill voice echoed through the Grand Cathedral's white walls sharply. Artemis winced and continued to hang her head low in shame, unable to meet her mother's eyes. Arrested on your first day? Participating in an underground fighting ring? And worst yet, disobeying my order, and then failing so utterly at the world's simplest mission? You are an utter disgrace to this church. Had I been a less patient and gentle bishop, you would be thrown out to the streets the moment you return home. Artemis' shoulders shook as she squeezed her eyes shut. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Mother, or rather, Bishop Katrina, continued to pace and fume across the cathedral with absolute fury. That crown was part of the royal family's collections. It belonged to the late king and was meant to be passed down to his son after his death. Do you know how utterly humiliating it was to tell the prince that my own daughter had lost it along with all its jewels? Katrina let out a heavy sigh. Thankfully, His Highness is a patient man. When I reported this news, he simply laughed and said that this may be a good learning experience for a whelp like you. She never goes out from the church. Come on, woman. Have you not been like a little bit perceptive? She turned towards Artemis with a snide snarl. Of course! Prince Cassius from freaking Dastra is here. Prince Cassius has given you a mission. You have 1 year to find and recover the 4 missing rubies of his crown before his coronation ceremony. You will do well to mend your disgrace to this church. Artemis stood up straight and saluted stiffly. She blinked and did her best to ignore the tears that were welling up in her eyes. Thank you for this chance, Your Excellency. I will do my utmost to right my mistakes. Oh, you'll need to do better than your utmost, young lady. I don't believe you understand the gravity of your situation. Katrina crossed her arms and glared in disgust. Should you fail in your mission, the church will strip you of your title as the Creator's Chosen. Can they do that? The air grew cold. Artemis felt all the air rush out of her lungs as a wave of panic and terror washed over her. What? What will I do without my duty as the Creator's Chosen One? Your Excellency, I beg of you to reconsider. You can't possibly... An amused, predatory sneer spread across Bishop Katrina's face. It vaguely reminded Artemis of stray cats cheerfully playing with their food before consuming them. Oh, but I can. Really? You can? You are not officially acknowledged as the Creator's Chosen until you are able to pull the Creator's Holy Blade from its resting place. Your current position and status holds little weight, officially. Her sneer dissolved in a cruel chuckle. Oh man, she's a very manipulative woman. And you cannot even attempt the ceremony to retrieve the Holy Blade without the church's express permission. I mean, she could just pull it out and be like, I am the chosen one. You can't just tell me that I need permission from you for me to get this. Seeing as I am the Grand Bishop of the church, I hold the right to strip you of your title and purpose. I don't want to say anything because, you know, it's religion. Katrina's sharp gaze bore through Artemis like nails. The church will have its worthy chosen, one way or another. If we do not meet the mark, the church will find someone else. Di sige? I was like, oh sige, fine. If she is the freaking chosen one, she will be able to get this out. But if you get someone else, the sword may be corrupted. Oh, I assume you understand what that entails. Artemis' heart pounded rapidly against her chest. Terror and dread gripped her mind as her breathing deteriorated into ragged hyperventilating. What would she possibly do without her duty? She had trained her entire life for this purpose. The thought of losing it all was a level of despair Artemis could scarcely comprehend. Her vision blurred and the room began to spin as her lungs screamed for air. A soft buzz suddenly echoed through the empty cathedral hall. Who might this be? Katrina sighed and fumbled about her robes and pulled out a small arcane crystal. With a tap, the crystal glowed with a soft golden hue. A familiar voice buzzed through the stone with a booming laugh. Hello? Can anyone hear me? Hello? At the sound of Knight Commander Grang. Grang, of course, the big guy. Warm voice, Artemis snapped her head up. Air rushed through her lungs and her breathing suddenly felt easier. She trembled and attempted to hold back her tears. Yes, Knight Commander, this is Bishop Katrina speaking. Oh, I'm afraid I'm an old bear. All these newfangled arcane crystals and speaking stones are an absolute hassle to figure out. It appears our beloved bishop has trouble with them as well, as I just overheard your entire conversation. Katrina's eyes widened in surprise and her expression scrunched into a disgusted scowl. Artemis, I hope you're doing well. What a day, eh? I would be there with you right now, but I'm afraid I'm busy haggling with the city watch at the moment. Sure enough, arguing voices could be heard in the background of the call, like... This aggravating fella keeps screaming about how we shouldn't drop charges on a wanted exhibitionist. Oh, I can't repeat the rest of this indecency. Hello, the ears. Crank laughed and cleared his throat. Anyway, back to business. Dear Bishop Katrina, I must ask you to kindly cease all this useless threatening tomorrow, Artemis. Sowing seeds of fear into her will not help the situation. You're supposed to be a bishop, diba? Katrina let out a harsh hiss as she gripped the speaking stone tightly. She disobeyed orders. She made a fool of herself and the church. Misdemeanors must be disciplined. Grank's booming voice continued speaking as though he didn't hear a single word she just said. And you absolutely will not withhold Artemis' title from her. This is an order. His tone suddenly dipped into a low, dangerous rumble. His history will not condemn the Creator's Chosen for losing a lousy piece of jewelry. Young Artemis, while you have a long task ahead of you, do not be discouraged by this small shortcoming. You are dismissed. Go get some rest and worry about recovering these rubies tomorrow after you're no longer exhausted from today's ordeals. Despite the fact that Grank could not see her, Artemis bowed her head deeply. Thank you, Knight Commander. I will not let you down again. Katrina let out a low scoff. Knight Commander Grank Storborn, you are the one who allowed her this mission despite my orders. Upon your head lies the consequences should she fail. Grank laughed cheerfully. I will happily take this wager. It's always the religious people that are the freaking worst. Artemis felt utterly exhausted in both body and spirit and mind when she retreated to her small room. Wow! No wonder! Her small room it's freaking fun! Look at this! Look at this room! I'm looking at the other monitor because it's brighter. Look at this other room. Like, this is just her room. No windows, just walls, of course. Imagine. Her eyes could barely stay open. All the strength drained from her limbs. She collapsed onto her lumpy bed with a deep sigh. Some people are born a little disappointing. Cole's previous words rang through her head as she squeezed her eyes shut. That couldn't be true, could it? But Artemis sighed again. After all the mishaps from today alone, she couldn't help but think there was a little truth to his words. She rolled over on her uncomfortably lumpy mattress and was abruptly met with the sound of crunching paper. Huh? She fumbled her hands across the mattress and retrieved a small piece of paper. A letter? Her heart skipped a beat as she instantly recognized Knight Commander Grank's messy handwriting. She quickly unfolded the paper with a small smile on her face in spite of her dreary mood. Hello, my dear pupil. I apologize for being unable to meet you in person after your first mission outside the church district, as I am busy organizing recovery teams for the royal family and sorting out this illegal fighting ring business. You deserve better than a dusty old letter with my atrocious handwriting scribbled across it. One fluttered across her chest and she let out a soft laugh. Oh, Knight Commander. I know you must be in a horrible state after the verbal beating your mother no doubt gave you. Do not listen to a single word of hers. You must be feeling terrible, but know that these feelings will pass. Failure is a part of life, and everything is a learning process. Though failure is a ruthless teacher, take this as an opportunity to improve. You will only grow better from here on. And look on the bright side. You finally experienced your first day outside the church district. Was it fun? Exciting? Surely it could not have been entirely bad. I wish to hear all about it once I've returned from my tasks. Prepare to tell the tales of your adventure when I return for our usual tea and cookie section. Did you make any good friends? Artemis reached the end of Grank's letter, her smile fading. She folded up and leaned her head back, staring quietly at the stone ceiling. I don't know. She closed her eyes and let the silence of her cold room wash over her. Well, I suppose I did learn something new today. Knight Commander, have you ever heard of a gesture called a high five? She's practicing! Chapter 1. The Liar, the Commoner, and the Chosen One. End. Well, that's the episode, everybody. I hope you all enjoy. Character glossary as of chapter 1. Okay. Skip and proceed to chapter 2. Wait. Let's start with Cole first. What's Constitution mean? A son of the legendary mercenary Bonebreaker, Cole is expected to follow his father's footsteps by his diminutive size and lack of strength. Charisma. Okay. Wisdom. Yeah. Intelligence. Okay. A compulsive and cunning liar, Cole has a talent of worming himself into and out of trouble completely unscathed. The same cannot be said of his companions whom he drags along with him. Items. Dark wood loot, loincloth. Dark wood loot. A finely crafted loot gifted but to Cole by his father. This loot is built with the most durable hardwood that Axia can offer. Highly resistant to damage. Highly resistant to damage? Can be used to bash opponent unconscious. Of course it's resistant to damage. It's made of steel. Suffering little to no damage. Maro says if my boy's bard hobby doesn't work out, at least this loot will stay useful as a blunt instrument. Loincloth of holding. A belt and a loincloth scavenged together from the remains of a bag of holding. The interior is lined with pockets. What pockets? Can hold up to 115 pounds of goods. How in the world? And trinket without weighing down the wearer. How? Cole usually fills it with snacks, lockpicks, and several decks of cards for cheating purposes. The loincloth also has the ability to hide the wearer's erection under all circumstances. Cole finds this feature particularly useful. Arcane crystals. A handful of low-grade arcane crystals that Cole retrieved from a mission of Soul Arcane's curiosities, but never bothered returning. These crystals are capable of absorbing weak spells and releasing them at a later time. Cole decided to hold on to them to satisfy his own fascination with magic. Solin Ruby. A ruby from Prince Cassie's obsidian crown. Cole stole it during his mission to retrieve the crown alongside Artemis Gautier. The gem's interior glows with a sinister light. If gripped, one can almost feel the ruby pulse with a faint heartbeat. Okay, let's go with Sid Shrikewood. Oh my god, strength? Okay, dexterity, what does constitution mean? What does it mean? What does constitution mean? Charisma? He has high charisma? How in the world does he have high charisma? He's a freaking shy guy! He's a freaking introvert. How is he at high charisma? This is a lie! The humble adopted son of a local innkeeper and cheesemaker, Sid dreams of one day becoming a famed adventurer. He doesn't have high charisma! He has trouble concentrating on menial tasks, which led him to be fired from multiple jobs and apprenticeships in the past. That's why he has low charisma! But he's very hopeful that his current adventuring job with Cole will be... it finally sticks. I imagine the charisma like around 4 or 2 or 6. Sid admits that he's not exactly the smartest tool in the shed, apparently, but his intelligence is 8 and is rather self-conscious about it, but believes that his incredible natural-born strength is his only redeeming trait. Items. Undersized tunic and what? Why are you showing this to us? What are you trying to tell us, game? Most of the clothes he buys on the market district are several sizes too small for Sid. All his clothes are hand sewn and adjusted by Sid's mother to fit him better, but they are still rather small and tight for his liking. That's it? The glasses. Sid suffers from severe nearsightedness. Without these glasses, he can barely perceive anything further than a few inches from his face. He takes great care of his spectacles since they are rather pricey and he'd rather not worry his parents with replacing them. Rusted claw tip. A rusty and... okay, an aged fragment of what appears to be a claw weapon. It is the only keepsake Sid from his birth mother, whom he knows little about. He keeps it with him as a lucky charm. I think his mother is a warrior. That's my explanation. What's your explanation? Comment it on the comment section below. Maybe we're gonna have a discussion of what kind of mother he has or father he has. I mean, he may be a warrior. He's a big buff boy. Next, Artemis Johanna Gautier. And this I would understand. But for Sid, there is no way that he has high charisma. As the creator's chosen one, Artemis is destined to protect the world from a terrible fate like the many chosen before her. Despite this important role, Artemis has lived a sheltered life inside the Grand Cathedral and scarcely knows anything about the outside world and thus feels utterly unprepared. Naive and optimistic, she is ever determined to improve herself and fulfill her duty, no matter what obstacles may stand in her way. Okay, items. Standard Church Knight sword and shield. Okay. A standard sword and this looks kind of familiar. Where have we seen this before? I've seen this in Marvel. It's with the Doctor Strange movies. A standard sword and shield set from the Holy Knights of the Church. The quality is rather low for church equipment. Artemis attuned to this set and can magically summon and dismiss them at any time or location. Okay. Worn candlestick. Okay. A small used candlestick worn to the last inch of its life. Small finger-like impressions line the sides of the candle as though it had been gripped deftly tied by a young child. Artemis carries this in her pocket at all times as a solemn reminder of what happened. The other? What other? Artemis notably carries very little on her person, lacking even a basic coin purse. All of her earnings and material payments from missions go straight to the church's vaults. As Her Excellency likes to remind her, the creators chosen should maintain their humility and free themselves from worldly indulgences. Okay. Then who will pay for her? The church? Okay, skip and proceed to Chapter 2. Proceeding. Chapter 2. Vulnerability and Risk. We're going to back in the Marauders District. Nighttime. Okay. This happens at night. The night was quiet and still at the Bonebreaker Mercenary Company. Quite unusual. After many long hours partying and drinking with his papa and other mercenaries, Cole had retired to the attic in a happy daze of exhaustion and quickly fell into a deep slumber. His chest rose. Why is there scary music right now? His throat rose and fell softly in the dim room while he slept. It was a little wonder that Cole failed to notice a dim glow in his pocket as the stolen ruby pulsed with life. Wisps of infernal magic flickered gently across the room and washed over Cole's unconscious body, gently probing his unguarded mind. A low voice suddenly rumbled through the night. Does Cole have the magic sense? Its deep tone reverberated through Cole's chest like a dark, rich ocean wave. Colo the Bonebreaker. Are you worthy of my temptation? It's the ruby! I have a feeling it's the ruby! Cole mumbled obliviously in his sleeve and rolled over. More visceral infernal energy spilled out of Cole's pocket and surrounded him in a fog of red. The deep rumbling voice leaned closer with an amused hum. Temptation is a decision. In the heat of the moment, haunted by others' expectations and your own desire, you must choose. What do you value more? It is within that moment's decision that one's truth is revealed. Infernal magic rake at the back of Cole's mind as the voice laughed. I wonder what I will find within you. Detect thoughts. Oh, detect thoughts. Beep boop. Whoa! Cole was suddenly in a freefall! He gasped and flailed aimlessly as incoherent memories and voices flew past him in his distance. Cole squeezed his eyes shut and shook his head wildly. He was clearly dreaming. Nothing makes sense right now, because he has the freaking ruby! But this felt much too lucid for a normal dream. Suddenly everything stopped. A single memory clawed to the surface within his mind and flooded his senses. Aha! That's from Repeat. He was still a young boy on the day he was injured. Still young at the age of 14 and still full of dreams of becoming the greatest warrior in the land and the worthy son of the great Marrow Bonebreaker. Cole had been fed tales of his father's great deeds throughout his entire youth. The thought of living up to even a fraction of Papa's legend filled him with utter excitement. One day, he will be just as great as Papa and continue his grand tale of adventure. Can't we just call him Daddy? Perhaps Cole would become just as legendary. Such was the youth, filled to the brim with optimism and misplaced hopes for the future. Then came the injury. Cole wished that the injury occurred due to a great battle, or maybe during the intense sparring match. That would have made for an interesting story at the very least. But no. The injury happened during the most basic training exercises. His first training exercise. Calling it an exercise at all was being generous. That morning, young Cole, with no pictures or images, had rushed into the Bonebreaker Guild's training room with giddy anticipation. It will be his first time wielding a weapon, and all of a sudden he tripped. He had chosen an axe just like Papa. He tripped, or he couldn't carry it. And Cole promptly spent about 10 minutes struggling to even lift it off the ground. No matter how he heaved and threw his weight about it, his skinny little arms couldn't lift the battle axe. Why didn't they even train him to be buff? Like, he doesn't want to be buff? After a while, he tried lifting a smaller axe only to be met with the same result. Huh? Then a size smaller, and then an even smaller one. What? Huh? Finally, he managed to wield a tiny throwing axe with relative ease, though it still felt really rather heavy. Felt rather heavy in his grip. Is he a scrawny little Have you seen his legs? Fortunately, Papa was away on a mercenary business that morning and wasn't there to see Cole's embarrassing bumbling. Cole spent 1 short hour in the sparring room that day. Hamish directed him on basic weapon drills, proper grip, and battle stances. Cole followed his instruction enthusiastically, paying little mind to the growing strain and soreness that began blooming in his forearms and calves. Pain was just weakness leaving the body. After all, he would never become a great warrior like Papa without a little soreness. But the pain kept growing. By the end of the hour, young Cole could barely stand. Hamish found him curled up on the floor in a mess of quivering limbs and distressed sobs. The rest of the day was a painful blur to young Cole. He remembered Hamish's soothing words and comforting grip as the older hyena carried him across town. They had rushed to the nearest healer in the city. Hamish got into a squabble with several other patrons as he fought his way to the front of the line. A long and agonizing examination and treatment followed. Cole remembered the healers probing his pained limbs with magic while pouring bitter herb mixtures down his throat. The healer and Hamish spoke in hushed tones while Cole lay unmoving on the bed and waited for the pain to subside. "Well, did you find out what went wrong?" The healer spoke hesitantly. "Our examination showed your son's body to be unexpectedly feeble. There were slight tears along his arm and leg muscles from what sounds like simple, lightly strenuous activity." "What?" "He will recover from this easily, but we advise you to avoid repeating these activities on a frequent basis." Is this a thing now? Is this a medical thing? Cole shot up from his bed and immediately slumped back down as pain racked viciously through his limbs. "Wait! What about my mercenary training? How will I..." Cole's voice died in his throat at the pitying expression of the healer. "I am very sorry, young man." "You mean I can never become a warrior like Papa?" "Your father tells me that you struggled through a severe illness as an infant, did you not? While you have recovered, it appears the disease had a lasting impact on your body. I see this happen very often in children who fall ill during their early development stages. So, slight strenuous activity. What about this? Isn't that a strenuous activity? That doesn't make any sense now! You are very small for a boy your age. Your muscles are particularly weak and fragile, likely from stunted growth. While your body may grow slightly more resilient with age, it is unlikely you will ever grow to that state where you can become an effective warrior. As your healer, I strongly recommend you pursue a different career." Young Cole's voice cracked as the hopelessness of the situation dawned upon him. But you said I'll probably go better with age. Isn't there a chance?" "Young man, please think about this. As a mercenary, you will undoubtedly face perilous combat situations with many able-bodied warriors. I mean, sucking them too, but you know. While your body may grow slightly more resilient to the strain, others will still hold the advantage over you. The likelihood of you dying needlessly in battle is almost a guarantee. I recommend you leave such tasks to more capable men." Cole fell silent, his head slumping back limply. His chest lurched painfully as he tried to wrap his mind around the situation. All his dreams and hopes— Shirokoi can't even type! All these hopes and dreams! Vanished in an instant. Here lies Squidward's hopes and dreams. What a baby. A gentle, comforting hand rested on his shoulder. Hamish leaned close with a sympathetic smile. "It's okay, kiddo. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to be a warrior to be a great man in life. Your pop and I will..." Hot anger flashed across Cole's chest. He whipped his head around and glared at Hamish furiously. "That's it? You give up on my chances of becoming a warrior just like that? I thought you believed in me." "No, Cole, that's not what I meant." Cole hardly remembered what Hamish said. Only a deep well of frustration and fury filled his young mind as he lashed out at Hamish. Cruel words and blame spilled from his throat while angry tears ran down his cheeks. It was unfair! All of it! Unfair. Cole also knew it was unfair of him to pour out all his resentment into Hamish, but it felt better to continue yelling than pause and dwell upon the pit of despair that filled his chest. Cole let out a gasp and his eyes snapped open. The world around him was still dark in the depths of this lucid dream. What in the world was happening to him? It's because you have the freaking ruby! A deep, sinister voice chuckled, the sound reverberating in every direction. Arante, and filled with such shame and doubt, you will make the perfect host for me. Cole snarled and clawed at the nothingness around him. Get the f*** out of my head! I am a friend. I can help you in your plight. You wish to become a great warrior like your father before you. You seek power. I can provide. All that you desire could be within your grasp. All you need to do is accept my pact. Oh man, the freaking ruby has a demon in it! Who are you? The voice chuckled again. You may call me Daddy. Ah! Daddy! A loud bang. Daddy! A loud bang from downstairs shook the entire Bonebreaker Guild building tavern. Cole let out a scream and nearly fell off his hammock bed. His heart thumped against his chest at a mild minute as his eyes darted through his surroundings in panic. It was just a dream! Just a dream! A rather unpleasant dream, but a dream nonetheless. Cole took a deep breath to recollect himself. Maybe he shouldn't have drunk so many ales with Papa last night. Maybe it was the ruby! Another sharp bang echoed through the entire building and shook Cole in his hammock. Papa must be sparring with the other mercenary men in the training room again. Did they have to do this so early in the morning? Heh! With your scrawny arms? Yes! Cole let out a yawn and scratched his dazed head. Time to drag himself through another day, he supposed. Huh? Cole blinked and let out a yelp of the sensation of something slithering on his lap. Get it? Ah, because his freaking loincloth can carry a lot of things, apparently. Oh! Ah! It's a snake! It's a black snake! It's a black snake! What the hell? It came out from his loincloth! Wow, Cole, I never knew you had a big long snake! With red eyes and a small ball python that laid curled up on his lap looked up at him expectantly and let out a tiny hiss. Oh, dude, you're gonna become Lord Coldemort. Ah, I see you're finally awake, young mortal. Cole stared. What are you, a demon? And then stared a little more. Oh, mate, it must be his familiar. This tiny snake was talking to him. This tiny snake! Is he talking about his... Yeah. The f*** are you? The ball python reared his head back, utterly offended, like, oh, sir, you got it all wrong. I am your... Yeah. Puny mortal. You should feel honored to be graced by the great temptation demon, Malice. Of course, he's a demon. I said it already. Bow before me and show proper respect. I may still consider granting you my... Nick! Cole yelled down the hall. Papa! A vermin got into the house again! From downstairs, Mara let out a laugh and shouted to the thin walls of the building. Another one? Just squeeze it and throw it out the window! Wait, the poor thing isn't hurting anyone. He is now! Just scoop it up with a cup and let it outside. Cole glanced down at the wiggling snake in his grip with a shrug. Well, you heard Papa. I mean, we could... Wait. Mercy! I beg mercy! You wouldn't dare harm one as powerful and fearsome as I, would you? Cole hesitated before dropping the writhing python back into his bed. You sure talk big for an itty-bitty little snake. Insolent mortal! Oh, you want the grip again? No! Stop it! No, please! I am simply weak enough to be summoned into the material plane. Who summoned you then? Had I retained my true form, you would be shaking in your boots from my might. Or maybe you're a sexy demon and Cole likes that. Cole squinted at the little screaming snake as he tried to wrap his head around the situation like, you're a demon. Or maybe just delusional. Or maybe you're crazy, Cole. How did you even get into my room? Ah, that is simple. I arrived through that ruby that... of course! I arrived through that ruby that you stole yesterday, you see? Cole immediately patted his pockets. Wait, where is the ruby anyway? I am the ruby! Did you eat it? You fool! I am the ruby! That's the... oh my god! This is Malice's black snake! As though to demonstrate, the black python curled up into a tight ball. In the puff of red smoke, he transformed into a small blood-red ruby. No, Cole! Throw it away! Oh, never mind. In another puff, Malice... oh my god! This is our wish dragon! In another puff, Malice returned to his snake. He returned to his snake form with a flourishing grin. I can't stop smiling at I can't stop laughing. As though awaiting applause from his little trick. Cole groaned and massaged his temple with a grimace like, I just wanted to bring home a pretty gem as a gift for Papa, not someone's black snake! Hissing and pissing and whissing! Now I gotta deal with a pest problem? Any chance I can separate you from the ruby? I mean, like with a knife? Or maybe, do you have your own snake? Malice immediately recoils in horror. No! Wait! I am unconditionally reconnected to the ruby. You wouldn't want to break such a valuable gem, would you, dear mortal? Let me show you my little friend! I don't know. You sound like more trouble than I'm willing to put up with. Wow, these mortals are a lot less fearful and groveling than my brother made them out to be. You have a brother? Does he have a black snake too? Wait a second. If you're a tiny demon snake living in my ruby... That sounded so wrong! Because he has a freaking red loincloth! The tiny demon snake living in my ruby! Does that mean the other 3 rubies have little snakes in them too? How dare you! I am no little snake! I am an arbok, yeah! I am the great and powerful temptation demon, Malice. Malice. Hiss. Yeah, you don't look like a Malice. I think I'm just gonna call you Noodle or something, or Black Snake, you know. Red Eyes Black Snake! Red Eyes! I summon my Red Eyes Black Snake! The python let out a melodramatic wail. How dare you degrade me with such a cute nickname? Cute-o? Cute-o? Huh? This wasn't how my first interaction with a mortal was supposed to go. You were supposed to grovel at my feet and worship the very air I breathe. Cole stared at the snake incredulously. Feet? What feet? You have snake legs thing. I had feet before I left the infernal plane, okay? As much as it pains me to admit, I am only so tiny and weakened because I'm the youngest of my siblings. This is my first trip to the material plane. I suppose my inexperience has left me in this sorry state. Wait, how many brothers siblings do you have? 6? Because if there are 7 of you, like the 7 deadly sins? Thank goodness we got separated. Oh! Why are you calling it goodness? Aren't you a freaking demon? You're going, thank badness. Thank the mercy evil we got separated. If my siblings saw me like this, I'd never hear the end of it. They'd be like, you're a freaking snake with red eyes! Where did you come out from? His loincloth! Cole scratched his chin thoughtfully, like, why would Prince Cassius order a crown with 4 demons in it, Things are starting to sound a little fishy. You and your demon pals better not be planning to cause trouble. Malice's head drooped onto the hammock with embarrassment. Well, I'm afraid I was a little too excited to travel to the material plane for the first time and didn't really pay attention when my siblings were explaining the mission. Oh, great. We have a loser in the family. No, do not mock me. I remember a few things at the very least. Okay, what is it? We are to infiltrate this snooty city and absorb negative emotion from you puny mortals. Your emotions will feed us and become a wonderful source of infernal energy. Speaking of which, you, tiny mortal, you will form a pact with me. As a temptation demon, a conflicted mess of a person like you will make the perfect host for me. With you at my beck and call, I shall return to my true form in no time. No thanks. I don't make deals with shady talking noodles. But I can grant you power, fame, glory. You wish to gain the approval of your father, do you not? With my help? Yeah, I don't think Papa would be very impressed if I grew strong from demon magic. Anyway, time to squish you. I'm gonna get my freaking mallet! Please tell me you turn back into a ruby after you die. I was hoping to pawn a decent price off that gem. Cole reached for a nearby butter knife. Yeah! Wait! Malice immediately shrieked with his eyes flash a blinding red. What did you do, freaking black snake demon? Acrid wisps of infernal magic shot across the room. Cole winced as a flicker of heat reverberated through his chest. It felt as though he had been smacked with a hot water bottle. The hell was that? Let me show you true infernal magic! And then he cast a gigantic fireball. We are now connected, puny mortal. That was... Wait, if you could have done that from earlier, why do you need the pack anyway? Any harm or sensation one of us feels, the other shall feel as well. Lord Voldemort! And that includes pain. Lord Coldemort! You shan't get rid of me so easily. Okay, turn into a ruby and let's see. Cole scowled and gave the snake an experimental pinch. Sure enough, he felt a light pinch squeeze his own shoulder. He let out a frustrated groan and fell back onto his hammock. Talk about a real deal. I just wanted a gem, not a snake babysitting job. You are stuck with me forever now. Rest assured. Sooner or later, I shall tempt you into a contract with me. But just you wait. I have a funny feeling that in the future, that Malice will become a good guy, and then he and Cole were gonna do the thing. You know, the thing. A sharp chime suddenly echoed outside, ringing throughout the entire city. As usual, the Axia clock tower struck on the hour of the city's public timekeeping system. Cole counted the number of chimes and nearly leapt out of his bed in sudden realization. It's 9 o'clock already? I was supposed to meet up with Sid at the town square! Damn it, why did you have to prattle on for so long? Ah, you have places to be. Excellent! I have always wanted to explore the material plane and all its exciting riches. You will make an excellent host and tour guide, puny mortal. Now, where are you? Don't tell me you're gonna go back to his loincloth? Cole yelped as the python casually slid into his belt pocket. Wow, it's surprisingly roomy in here! Don't you just slide into other people's pants without asking? You can't tell me what to do, puny mortal! Now to this town square, post-haste! Cole groaned for what felt like the umpteenth time that morning as he dragged himself out of bed. What a bossy little... Poof!